Hello. Welcome to the high school graduation. My name is Jody Grass, and I'm the head of school. Before we get started, to just get us centered in this place and ready to hear the incredible speeches from our seniors, let's just take a moment of silence. I want to thank Simone Noble for volunteering, she's a parent, for volunteering to do our photography today. Last night we spent at Pine Cottage at the Krishnamurti Education Center on the east end of Ojai. Pine Cottage was Krishnamurti's home, and we had the senior dinner, which is a tradition that we do here at Oak Grove. I want to thank Carrie Devaney and Lucy Pacheco for all the work they put into that. I also want to thank Jacqueline Valle and our maintenance team, Dave, Marga, and Joe, for the incredible work they always do, but particularly this year during COVID and mitigation, to be able to set up events like this takes a lot of work. And finally, our fantastic outreach team, Warren and Jaime and Ollie, who do everything behind the scenes so that we can capture these moments. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to introduce the director of our high school, Russ Bowen, who will be introducing the class of 2021.
Good morning and welcome again. Yes, my name is Russ, and I'm the director of the high school here at Oak Grove. As director, I have the honor and the privilege of introducing our graduating class to the stage each year, and in doing so, I enjoy choosing one word that represents them as a whole. And this year, I've chosen the word spirit. I said spirit because this class simply has a very unique, lively, and fun spirit. They are funny, caring, vivacious, loving, and most of all, a group of kind young adults that go out of their way to include others and to make sure that all are having fun. They are artists, knitters, singers, athletes, potters, actors, farmers, polyglots, and all-around wonderful human beings who have clearly made their mark on Oak Grove and will definitely be missed. I firmly believe that the values of Oak Grove shine brightly in their character and their spirit, and I hope that they feel that we have done our job in helping them prepare for a life of digging deep, reaching far, and creating their own futures. Will everyone please help me welcome to the stage the Oak Grove School graduating class of 2021.
Getting used to taking the mask on and off. So I struggled a little bit about what to say today because we're all a little fatigued from the pandemic, from COVID, and this class, many students in this class made that really clear to me. So out of respect for that, I will avoid using words like pivot, resilience, unprecedented, and flexibility. However, this class is an extraordinary compilation of individuals. As eloquently stated by one of our seniors earlier this week during her gateway, Oak Grove allows you to take moments and make them your own. I would say this class embraces every moment. For his Pathless project, Eric made an animated video reflecting on his time at Oak Grove. Watching this well-timed, witty, and artistically complex film, you might think animation is his passion, or at least something he's done before. But no. He actually chose to do animation because he's never done it before. Although Ian will be pursuing a degree in aerospace engineering, he is a talented musician, an accomplished artist, and a convincing actor. He speaks several languages, his native Portuguese, Spanish, English, even with a convincing British accent as he played Harry Wormwood in Matilda, and he is currently learning Japanese. Josie knits intricate fiber sea animals with personality cards, which contain their name and attributes and how they will benefit your life. She is a dedicated academic student and good at most things that she does. One thing is a challenge, however, wearing shoes to school. Beneath Gwen's vibrant sense of style is a thoughtful, sometimes quiet, compassionate leader. As student council president this year, Gwen inspired others to challenge themselves beyond their comfort zone. This is because she's always challenging herself to do things that scare her. For her Pathless project, she backpacked alone for 4 days in Coyote Gulch in Escalante, Utah. Anna, the founder and president of the Entrepreneurial Cake Making Club, went to her 9th grade prom dressed as a shark, and not symbolically, but in a plush onesie. Anna is an accomplished professional artist who wrote, illustrated, and published a children's book for her Pathless project. As Tavia in Fiddler on the Roof, Clark became an instant campus celebrity. Larger than life is Clark. For months afterward, when Clark would walk through campus, you can hear younger students yelling out his name. Often, you would see him lean down to ask a question or share a giggle. As Miss Trunchbull in Matilda, he captured the essence of a terrifying headmistress. A true Renaissance woman, Hannah embraces every adventure that comes her way. Hannah is a natural leader. She has an ease about her that is disarming, yet her character is strong. As student council president, her junior year, she led the charge to transform our campus bathrooms to gender neutral. Jules is passionate about environmental and social issues. She's an accomplished and committed tennis player. She is a diligent student. But around here, what we most talk about when we think about Jules is her loyalty to her friends and her family. Jules prioritizes her family relationships and her friend relationships, staying connected to friends all over the world. In 2019, ISIS lobbied for adding a new officer position to the student council. Once established, she was quickly nominated and confirmed as the arts coordinator. ISIS initiated several campus-wide art projects, including adding murals to the bathrooms. Recently, she inspired and co-coordinated a mural to be added on the switchgear at the top of the driveway. You may have seen it when you were coming in. It's pink. It's hard to miss. As the president of the Social Justice Club, Nayeli brought a new level of consciousness around equity, so much so that she inspired the Oak Grove School Board's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee to invite her and another student to be members. She has been honest and brave, sharing her experience and also giving voice to others. As editor to the student newspaper, Nayeli made a concerted effort to have its contents reflect diverse perspectives. Krishnamurti says that a school, through its students, should bring a blessing to the world. I am confident that we've done that here. I would now like to introduce Ashton McSaylor, who will be giving a little talk that was requested by the seniors. He was their first advisor, their ninth grade advisor, and also Ashton currently is a full-time English teacher for us, but is also making a transition. Next year, he will be a part-time teacher teaching in our electives program. Welcome, Ashton.
Thank you, Jody. Life is full of questions. In the speeches that you will hear today, you will witness, hold on, there we go. In the speeches that you hear today, you will witness brilliant young minds grappling with some of the hardest questions. You will hear them reflect on the choices they made that led them to this moment, the unknown paths that stretch out ahead of them, and what even is the meaning of life. They look toward a bright but uncertain future, eager, yet knowing that they leave behind the only life they've ever known. Even when looking ahead, there can be a sense of mourning for that which we're leaving behind. It is both the blessing and the curse of human existence that every present reality will become tomorrow's memory. I have spent years answering their questions, but I don't have answers for them anymore. What I can say is, I have never met a group of young people more prepared for whatever life can throw at them. They're scholars and artists, musicians and writers. Each of them have learned not only to ask the hard questions, but to sit comfortably in silence when that is the only answer. We should all learn that skill. For myself, when I started at Oak Grove 33 years ago as a little second grader, I had no idea that circumstances would force me to leave this school that I loved even then. And I had no idea that I would come back as an adult, finally closing the loop. This year marks 5 years that I've been the high school English teacher here at Oak Grove, and it will be my last in that role. I'm going on to focus on building story tables, the teen and adult storytelling program that I run with my beautiful wife. I'm grateful for this opportunity and grateful that I will remain a member of the Oak Grove community, both as a parent and as an elective teacher. These students have been the heart and soul of this era of my life. Some of them were there with me when I started Story Tables 5 years ago, making this group the only one that I've had the privilege of working with for all 5 of my years at Oak Grove. We have read together, laughed together, traveled together, sweated together. I have made them cry, and they have made me cry. I've stayed up late with them around a campfire, swapping stories and playing games, and said goodnight, only to meet again a few scant hours later, bright and early for class the next morning. We have talked about literature under the oak trees, illuminating hidden depths until we all felt enlightened. Once, we even spent the night on campus together, the boys in my room, the girls in the student center, and me parked in a sleeping bag right under my whiteboard. These students have shown me what it means to be brilliant, what it means to be brave, what it means to be full of goodness, even when it isn't easy. I'm inspired by them and grateful. I have been dreading saying goodbye for 5 years. To each of you here on this stage today, it has been one of the great honors of my life to be your teacher. And when I greet you as you cross this stage in a few minutes, it will not be as my students, but as my friends. You face some of the biggest questions of your life right now, and you are facing them with honesty, integrity, curiosity, and hope that serves as an example to your elders. We may none of us have answers, but in life, as in games, there's one way to find out. And now I'd like to welcome the high school up to perform their final song.
We know where we're going, but we don't know where we've been. And we know what we're knowing, but we can't say what we've seen. And we're not little children, and we know what we want, and the future is certain. Give us time to work it out.
To start off our speeches, I would like to introduce an audio recording of the senior Eric, who has been stuck in China for this last over a year. Please give him a round of applause nonetheless.
Morning everyone, welcome to my graduation speech. When I was a freshman, I was a bystander. For a transfer student who joined later in the semester, everything in the school made me feel full of expectations and attention. However, due to my unskilled English, I thought that I would always be a bystander. I could not participate in anything, even though I was in it. The relationship between everyone were like old friends, but I didn't seem to belong to this group. I felt a sense of distance and powerlessness. I didn't know how to change this phenomenon. Fortunately, with the help of my classmates and friends in Bessenhouse, I gradually tried to integrate into some social circle during this process. I often made some jokes because of my accent problems in some activities. Also, this experience was shameful. They did not prevent me from trying to change my position in this community. When I was a sophomore, I became a participant. My second year in OGS was the year that I changed the most. The first thing I gained in that year was a new friendship. Ravi, Cooper, and I. This was my first local social circle. It was also because of them I had changed my sense of myself from a bystander to a participant. I gradually became interested in participating in various school and social activities. What impressed me the most among all the activity was the election for the student council. At first, I didn't want to participate in the election for the student council because I still have doubts about my own ability. However, with the recommendations and the support of my friends, Louis, Alex, and Rio, I changed my mind. Alex and Ravi helped me draw the campaign poster. Louis and Rio helped me edit my speech draft and put forward their suggestion on the changes I needed to make after serving as treasurer. The pure help and the enthusiasm from friendship were the driving force for me to move forward. Therefore, to live up to their efforts and intentions was the initial motivation for me to campaign for the treasurer. Fortunately, I succeeded. I did not disappoint anyone. Also, I was elected treasurer due to the fact that I didn't have any other competitors in the campaign. I always thought that this was the achievement of my joint efforts with my friends. When I was a junior, I grew into a leader. After the first 2 years of growth, I thought I had become a qualified upperclassman. Soccer team captain, treasurer, these titles and positions also taught me what the responsibility was. However, the bills of student store and the financial report that the student council routines required every Wednesday makes me feel tired from time to time. Sometimes I would even think about giving up. However, somehow I enjoyed the feeling of managing the student store and serving other students. I thought this was my responsibility as an upperclassman, so I can't give up yet. It was a pity that, also in my junior year, because of the impact of COVID-19, I had to leave the campus, leave all my friends. I still remember when Senate informed us that we needed to return to China. I was very calm, because after experiencing forest fire in 2017, I was no longer afraid of those man-made or natural disasters. I naively thought that I would be back after a short break, just like the last time. Thus, I missed the last chance to say goodbye to my friends. Now I'm a senior, and I'm also a pioneer. I think I have changed myself as much as possible in my 4 years of high school life, and I have also gained the friendship and knowledge. I still feel disappointed that I could not attend to the graduation speech with you face to face. I also feel uncertain about my future college life, but I will continue to move forward until I find my true meaning in life. And my 2.5 years of life at Oak Grove will be my eternal memory. Time is fleeting, but memories are forever.
Hello. It's a mystery what actually happened. It's a mystery what actually happens when you have so much brain power. Clark.
As I'm sure is true for nearly everyone here, 8th and 9th grade was a pretty turbulent time in my life. Emotions were running high, I had a newly defined craving for independence, and this all manifested in a decision for me to leave Oak Grove. I wanted bigger social circles and a wider diversity of classes, and I had a perfect high school dream that I was ready to enroll in. However, when looking at other schools, I realized that my perfect experience didn't exist. While some other schools had what I wanted, They're all plagued with over-formal classroom settings, more social pressure, and less individual student attention. And the discovery that a perfect high school didn't exist, and it just wasn't out there, it was pretty crushing. I thought this was the solution to all my problems, but it didn't exist. However, despite not finding a perfect school, I was still left with that really tough decision. Where would I be going next year? My mom had me make a checklist with different categories and rate each school in each category so I could get a better idea of what I wanted. However, I found that comparing the pros and cons of schools was useless, as there was just way more decisions to make. However, needing to make some choices, I decided to cross off schools for the pettiest reasons I had, like not enjoying the drive to campus or thinking that the trees could have had a little bit more personality. Eventually, I was left with 2 schools, one being Oak Grove. And I sat on that for a long time. It felt like I'd be abandoning my whole life if I left, but I was dead set on finding something new, and it was difficult to come to the reality that I couldn't have both. Of course, during all this time, I was still going to Oak Grove, and it hadn't occurred to me until then, until I had to make the final decision, but Oak Grove had been helping me through the whole process. I'd gotten teacher recommendations for other school applications. I'd asked for help with administrative work, and I even asked teachers for recommendations for what schools they thought were best for me. I was thinking about leaving Oak Grove, yet that felt like the least of anyone's concerns. Everyone who helped me didn't care where I was going. They just wanted to make sure it was the best place for me. And that's why I'm still here. Because I know that the teachers and family and the staff and everyone that makes up the Oak Grove community is here to give me the support I need and make sure that I'm at the best place that I can be. And that is something that was just too important for me to give up. I had grown up with that support, and I never realized how important it was to me until I tried to stray away from it. And looking back on the past 4 years now, my high school story has also been one of support. I'm going to dreadfully miss trying to scramble together a weekly bass lesson with my teacher, Aaron. Starting in 3rd grade, he taught me ukulele, and then trumpet, and then trombone until we finally settled on bass. And in a similar vein, ever since I joined high school, our music teacher, Eric, has given me so much, constantly creating opportunities for me to grow both as a person and a musician. I can specifically remember giving a not-so-stellar performance at a certain local festival, and I was feeling really bad about it. But when I saw Eric dancing in the back of the small crowd, it felt really great to know that someone was proud of me just for trying my hardest, even if it didn't turn out that well in the end. And my parents have always done whatever they can to make my life easier, whether it be driving me to school, even though I have a license and can easily drive myself, or letting me take a day on Zoom when school's gotten to be just a bit too hard. I've never felt like I needed to be afraid of falling because you guys were always there to help me up. My sisters Emily and Gwen are my lifelong friends, and I find it incredible we're all choosing to follow our passions so fervently, though I've been dreading not being able to go a room over to hang out with them. I'll be leaving for Boston this fall as I'm attending the Berklee College of Music. Yeah. I'm not quite, oh no, I'm not done. I'm not quite sure what it'll be like when I get there. I'm not sure who I'll hang out with. I'm not sure what I'm gonna study. To be honest, I'm not sure about pretty much anything. But I know that I'm excited, and I know that I'm ready. Thank you. Pixie among men, effortlessly herself, one with the clay. Welcome, my sister Fries.
I'm gonna take this off. I don't like it. Okay. Growing up, my best friends were a set of twins who lived just down the road. They're right there. They were hardy and adventurous, and we did everything together. With unlimited freedom and 50 acres to explore, we played endlessly and learned to adapt to whatever situation we found ourselves in. We explored mountain lion caves and ran through Topanga Creeks barefoot, chasing after Sally the salamander, and baked extravagant rosemary cakes. One time, we even burnt down a part of my house and ran away for the night to avoid consequences. We were the kings of Hondo Canyon. This freedom we were given encouraged me to recognize the power we hold as individuals. Since then, I have learned that I love to push the boundaries of my abilities, mentally and physically. From living independently for the last 4 years to spending 20 hours per week at the pottery studio and biking across Oregon, I have stretched my comfort zone enough times to know that we are capable of more than what we believe. When I started Oak Grove in 9th grade, the freedom and trust we were given that was given to the students felt very familiar. Oak Grove has created a magical bubble of genuine interaction and integrity. Respect is embedded in every layer of the education. With this respect comes a greater desire for understanding. When my non-Oak Grove friends ask me, after so many years of this, why are you excited to wake up Monday morning? This is what I tell them. Because we have an innate desire for a deeper understanding, school becomes a place where I am able to share my curiosity and joy with people I have formed deep relationships with. Through bonding on camping trips and calling teachers by their first names, we have really made a bright circle of inspiration and admiration. Because of my years at progressive schools, I feel inspired to continue my education. So, I've decided to go to Quest University this fall in British Columbia. Thank you. Very exciting. I yearn to continue discussing ideas with people who are just as excited to be learning as I am, and to experience the excitement I feel when I observe my worldview morphing as I learn. I am eternally grateful for the alternative home I was born into, and the freedom I have been entrusted with. My parents have shown me everything from the experience of communal living to the playa of Burning Man. They are my best friends and just so happen to be the coolest people I know. Thank you, Mama, for your power, and Papa for your curiosity, both of which I will need to maneuver this wild world. Thank you both for the constant support and the steady foundation I am able to build my future on. Thank you. Against the current, she swims strong, a better friend we could never have. Gwen Del Signore.
If you told me time would go by this fast, I wouldn't have believed you. 12 years ago, I graduated from kindergarten on this campus, and from those first early days here, I have grown taller, more mature, into myself, and more curious by being at Oak Grove. Similarly, the baby oak tree that I myself as a sapling would look out from the kindergarten playground is now a strong young oak that I can see from the high school atrium. My time at Oak Grove has been expansive. I've seen the creation of lizard groups, the changing of leadership and teachers, trees growing taller each year, and class ahead of me graduate and go off into the world. I'm about to do the same. I've grown up at Oak Grove, and I've always felt that I can call this campus of towering oaks, golden sunlight, and dusty Ojai beauty a second home. Even though I've traversed this same campus since I could barely walk, my years at Oak Grove have guided me into new environments, in turn helping me learn to adapt and feel confident in new places, and cultivating a great sense of curiosity about everything around me, something that keeps me seeking out new experiences. In 10th grade, I decided to attend Brockwood, a Krishnamurti sister school in England, for my sophomore year. I left with words of encouragement and excitement for the new opportunities and adventures that lay ahead. When I returned, I was welcomed back with open arms, everyone eager to hear my stories. When the senior class went to Hawaii this spring, we had the pleasure of walking around our host Froda's jungle garden, often stopping to gaze at the lush abundance of green that surrounded us, and to hear what Froda was saying and teaching us about his home. With every look I took, my curiosity grew, and I asked Froda questions with intent, for there was no other option but to learn as much as I could while I was there. While planning our Pathless projects this year, once I heard we had this opportunity to create a project that both interests us and challenges us, I ran with it. I went backpacking alone in Escalante, Utah, a place I had never been, almost 700 miles from home, in a biome I had rarely visited. I created a project that allowed me to explore, to see and do new things I hadn't before, and to let my curiosity run wild, notions I am sure will be in my future. After today, my gap year officially starts, one that I hope to fill with travel, art, backpacking, learning, music, unadulterated exploration. Things that Oak Grove has cultivated my love for and made me want to continue for the rest of my life. Every teacher, staff member, and community member has fostered a love for learning and inquiry in me that spreads throughout the facets of my life. In my art and creative pursuits, in my love for the natural world, and in my academic journey. All of these I will be learning about as a member of Boston University's class of 2026, where I hope to study art, marine science, biology, focused on ecology and conservation, and anything else that piques my interest. I am saddened to leave a place that has seen me grown up, but I am excited for the future and to use my harnessed curiosity independently, one that has grown each day by being here. Books of Warriors. Never more jolly a song. Where he goes, fun comes along. Welcome Ian.
Where do I go from here? That's a question that for me has been a bit of a struggle to answer. Not in the conventional sense. I know where I'm going to college, and I know what major I'm going to pursue. No, I mean in a more internal sense, for myself. How am I going to adapt as a person to the changes that are coming for me like a freight train? When I first started high school in Brazil, I went through a rough period in my life where I struggled with major self-image issues. I went into a headspace where I constantly felt like I wasn't good enough, that my friends didn't really enjoy my company and simply tolerated my presence. And there was a point where I rarely wanted to leave my room and simply, my house, and spent my days literally from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed reading as a form of escapism. Because of this experience, I'm just really glad to be where I am right now, back at this school. I remember being here at Oak Grove, over there in the 4th grade classroom, now the 6th grade classroom, looking at the high school seniors. It felt so distant then, but deep down I knew that one day I'd be up there graduating too. So after I had to leave, it felt like the rhythm of my life had been interrupted. Now I'm incredibly grateful to be here. I'll never forget, Really, high school has been a long roller coaster with many ups and downs. From not wanting to leave my room and pretending to be sick so I could get out of going to a party, to climbing a volcano with my friends in Hawaii and singing in the ocean at El Cap. I'll never forget camping with Gwen and Clark frying jalapeno poppers on a camping stove. I'll never forget sitting in my sister's room with her and Lily late into the night with her flashing LED lights talking about feelings and relationships. I'll never forget going skating with Ananya or sitting in my room watching anime with Anna and Josie. And it wouldn't be possible without Krista helping us through scholarship opportunities at Oak Grove. It wouldn't be possible without my mom always being there for me. It wouldn't be possible without my extended family always supporting us on our journey here. And it wouldn't be possible without my dad having sold his car so we could afford to come here. I'm eternally grateful. It feels so bittersweet to be done. High school, middle school, elementary school, they all feel coherent, as if they're just the next step. But college has always felt different. It's always felt like a new chapter, like a whole new season in the sitcom of life. I'm excited to feel more like my own person, but I'm also afraid because I don't have answers. And really, there won't be any answers, not until I'm actually there. Yet I keep asking myself these questions. Will I be able to make friends like the ones I've made over the past 4 years? Will I be able to keep the friends that I've made over the past 4 years? Just how much is my life going to change? Who am I going to become? A good friend to all, her smile lights up our class, always positive. Please welcome Jules.
Okay. Wow, another Oak Grove graduation. I remember sitting right there when I was 3. I remember sitting right there when I was 8. I remember sitting over there when I was 12. And now I'm standing here. The last time I gave a graduation speech on this stage with this group of people was way back in 8th grade. My speech was about how I would always be a lizard for life, despite the fact I could not graduate from Oak Grove. And yes, obviously I'm right here graduating from Oak Grove, so what happened? I'd been at Oak Grove from preschool until 8th grade. Then my family and I moved to Colorado. During my time in Colorado, I had almost all of my needs met. Socially, mentally, athletically, you name it. Actually, the one word I would use to describe my 3 years in Colorado is fun. And despite all of this fun I was having, something had been missing for way too long: my love for learning. I began to long for the last place that made me want to go in the school in the morning. The last place my teachers made me feel valued. The last place where I was actually excited to read a book. And the last place that had made me cry when thinking about leaving. This place was Oak Grove. When I returned in the fall of my senior year, Oak Grove had proven to be the same place I had left behind in 8th grade, the perfect place for me to reclaim my love for learning. The Oak Grove community is the reason I was able to reclaim this love and the reason I'm graduating. Sydney, Russ, Marie, Brittany, Will, and Ashton, and the OGS staff, thank you. Without my teachers, I would not have been able to graduate high school, literally. Although it was my first year in the high school, I want to thank my classmates for doing an amazing job of incorporating me back into the class. Richard, Diana, Gary, Jackie, and Ava, thank you for giving me a place to stay so I could attend Oak Grove. Gemma, Matt, Hina, Brewster, Elena, Loli, and Ben, your company is appreciated. Mom, you taught me the importance of unconditional love. Rick, Dad, you are my best friend. I'm very thankful to have you both as my parents and can't believe you guys are following me to college next year. Truly, I cannot believe it. I will be continuing my education at Whitman College in Walla Walla, Washington. I never thought I could say this without lying, but with complete honesty, I could not be more ready to go to college. And it's not just because my parents are following me there, but because my Oak Grove education has taught me to face the world in a unique way and to bring my love for learning wherever I go. All that's left now is to say goodbye. And now that I'm standing here, I would like to share a lyric to my favorite song. Oh yeah, I just graduated high school. Aha! Fairy girl runs barefoot through a forest green, playing hide and seek with squirrels. Welcome, Josie.
In our ethics class this year, we talked a lot about the point of life. Should we learn as much as we can, think about how the world works, try to be morally good? I came to the conclusion that the point of living is simply to enjoy life, to be happy. I have been happy at Oak Grove. I started my high school career at Besant Hill, but after only a week, realized it wasn't for me. My brother and cousins already attended Oak Grove, and my mom worked here. It was one of my top contenders while originally deciding on a high school, and I wanted to give it another try. My official first day was Peace Day of my freshman year. I had visited the day before and was so very excited to be part of the school and join in such a unique, fun celebration. After learning about lizard groups, I even danced around the kitchen that night in my own ridiculous impersonation of the essence of a lizard. Oak Grove seemed cheerful and was already making me much happier after one day than anything during my week at Besant Hill did. Oak Grove feels homey and cozy and real. The people are kind and enthusiastic, and overall, it just has an incredible, welcoming atmosphere. It feels like one big, warm-hearted family. That's what made me decide to come here and why I've truly enjoyed being part of the community. During LCAP, my first week at Oak Grove, we played a lot of beach soccer. Running on the makeshift field and splashing in the shallow waves with my brother and new friends and teachers was one of my best school memories. The classroom has also been a source of happiness. Discussing each chapter of The Things They Carried was a particular favorite. It was one of the most satisfying books I've read and one I haven't seen taught at other schools. Talking over it with my classmates was delightful. One night, we sang sea shanties around the campfire at LCAP for at least an hour. While learning about different world religions in history class sophomore year, we got to create awesome religion posters. It was one of my favorite projects ever. I always feel the spirit of competition amp up while playing soccer games, even though we're not a competitive school, which really brings a sense of school unity. These are moments that really only could have happened at Oak Grove. This is a very special place, and that unique wonderfulness is what I've enjoyed so much about it. I have been happy at Oak Grove in a way I don't think I would have been at any other high school, and I'm very grateful for everyone that gave me the opportunity to come here. The school as a whole made it possible through effort and financial aid, and all of my wonderful parents assisted me, not only through financing, but through encouragement, homework help, and general enthusiasm for me to go anywhere I loved. My brother, Sycamore, also gave me plenty of homework help, especially in our shared geometry class, and drove me to school every morning freshman year. Gabby has been an awesome friend and always encourages me not to procrastinate. I still procrastinate. Love you to my wonderful family. Thank you to everyone who helped me be here, but I wouldn't have loved being at school without my teachers and classmates. They made Oak Grove what it was for me. For 4 years, minus a much worse week, they've made me happy. Yes, I have loved being at Oak Grove. I'm also ready to move on. My plan is to travel and learn various farming techniques through a program called Workaway. I'm so excited to start on my path to being a farmer. My life has always been based around school, and while I'll certainly miss it, and especially miss the people I've known here, I'm very excited to have more freedom in what I do and try living a less structured life. Oak Grove has made me happy for my high school years, and I can't wait to continue finding other places that bring me just as much joy. Thank you all. Under her sweet smile, you find passion and fire, working to make change. Nayeli Tirado.
Everybody has their own story. And if I've learned anything from these past 4 years, is that everyone's story is unique. As a freshman, I thought my story was straightforward and simple. I would spend my high school career studying hard and getting into a good university. I truly believe that's what my 4 years would consist of. However, tales never unfold the way you expect them to. The biggest dilemma in my plot development was that the main character didn't really know who she was. Since then, I have been questioning what my identity is. To start from the beginning, my parents and grandparents immigrated from Sorry guys, it's too early for this, I know. Okay, to start from the beginning, my parents and grandparents immigrated from Mexico to America. I'm so sorry, I did not expect to get this emotional. Don't worry, they're tears of joy. So. To start from the beginning, my parents and grandparents immigrated from Mexico to America in order to build a better future for themselves, their future kids, and grandkids, aka me. They traveled through harsh conditions and oh my God, okay. They traveled through harsh conditions and risked their life every step of the way. Now you may ask, why would anyone go to such extremes to come to the U.S.? Well, for many reasons, such as work, opportunity, and most importantly, education. This is why, even as a kid, I knew education was important. I mean, important enough to risk your entire life for it. Since coming to Oak Grove, I have never taken my educational advances for granted. Every day, I have worked hard. I've worked as hard as I could to make all the sacrifices worth it. This mindset followed me throughout high school. Starting my educational journey, I was very opinionated, but was too busy studying and too shy to share those opinions with my fellow peers. In my sophomore year of high school, I decided to take a journalism class for fun, not knowing that it would change my perspective on life. I was able to write an article called "Breaking Through the Myth of Immigration." As soon as I saw my article published, a flame of passion burst inside of me. Since then, I have used my ability to write to advocate for immigrants and all other minorities. I will eternally be grateful for that journalism class and the teacher that pushed me to write that article. My voyage as a lizard could not have been completed if it wasn't for all the characters in my story. My parents, who would drive me everywhere and work long hours to financially support me, or my close friends who have always supported me and my ideas, even when I doubted myself. And every math teacher I've ever had for staying after hours and for enduring all of my questions. Then there's my class. They give me something I will never forget, a second family. And of course, there's Oak Grove that created a home for this little family. As I transition out of Oak Grove and begin my journey at UC Berkeley as a political science major, I will take many things I've learned from the past few years with me. I will take my new social and outgoing personality I have created here. I will take with me the sounds of birds chirping while I do my homework, or the laughs and giggles I have shared with my classmates. I will remember the hardships the woman before me had to endure for me to be able to have my own education. I will cherish the ambition and passion I have discovered within myself. And I will honor all of the tribulations my family went through to get me on this stage today. I will take all of these things with me. They have helped me realize who I am. I'm bad at math. I'm a leader. A fighter, a daughter of immigrants, a bad runner, a good gymnast, an activist, a student, and a friend. All distinct traits that have formed my identity. Unfortunately, my story at Oak Grove ends here. However, this is merely the beginning of my next chapter. But as we all know, any good story ends happily. So let this be my happily ever after. Thank you. Cute as a cat, kindest person, sharer and giver, Anna Richardson.
Finally get to be in the shade. Welcome to the finale of my 18 years of life. That may sound like I'm about to die, and it's not inherently wrong. Death, as defined by tarot, signifies change and transition. This is true for me now as I stand here, on the line between the new and the familiar, ready to take a step forward. However, this wouldn't be my first time finding growth at Oak Grove School. The School of Living and Learning has introduced me to death many times before. As a young child starting school, I didn't used to value my education. I had been raised on stories of independence and rebellion, and entering Oak Grove School, I immediately noticed the lack of control I felt over my life. I felt as if all of my choices were being made for me, and I resisted work like a cat in a bathtub. You would expect a child who loved reading to be a good student, but I had the spirit of the Hunger Games in me, and no oppressive regime was ever going to take me standing. I refused to die. The closest I've ever come to getting a disciplinary step came from a situation where I was given a project I could not stand to do. I felt really powerless as a kid, and I took every chore as a personal attack. This was not a healthy learning mindset when every other assignment put me in a bad place. So I needed to change my attitude. Bit by bit, I began to find appreciation in classwork. Teachers weren't out to steal my freedom and give me stress. They were trying to help me push myself. I feel now that there is so much value in school. Less than an obstacle, it is an opportunity. Instead of rejecting my learning, I tried to lean into it. There will always be assignments that cause me grief, but I now have the experience to push through them. To the teachers who stuck with me through all of my stubbornness, I'll always admire you. I've been going to the same school since preschool. I grew up on these grounds. That used to be my playground. It doesn't feel right that today is the last day I get to be here as a student. It doesn't feel right that the school will start classes again next year and I won't get to be a part of it. That from here on out, I will continue to grow, but it will not get to be here. I will miss all of the people that have made my time here so special. I really, really will. We're all learning and dying together, but it's time for me to cross to the other side. If I come back as a ghost, I'll stop by and say hi, so make sure to leave good thoughts by my grave until then. If it wasn't for the support of so many people, I would not be here today. So there's no better time to say my thanks to the stars in my sky who have gotten me this far. Mom, who helped me get into college, you're so amazing I can barely say it. Dad, Greg. Sometimes things are about you. You're my right-hand man, and I hope you wear that Hawaii shirt for a long time. Alex, I have yet to be in a speech of yours, but don't worry, you can talk this time. Keep drawing, you're great at it. Thank you to my grandparents who came all this way to hear me speak. To my dog, telepathically. Thank you to all of the teachers. Sydney, who kept my ear from falling off. Ashton, who always had games and stories for us. Richa, who brought the magic of live theater to Oak Grove School. And everybody else. You've taught me so much. To my friends, you know who you are, and if you aren't sure, give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Life at Oak Grove would be meaningless without all of the bump circles, chess games, and all-around chatter. The core of the school really is the people, and I'll miss you all so much. And this is it. Thank you for being here for me. Thank you all for raising me and giving me books and snacks and toys. We're at the end zone, the closing chapter, the step between this world and the next. Social animals, Hannah, the queen of them all, boundless love and soul.
So cool, I walked the wrong way. You did walk. I can't see anything. Are you okay?
My mask. Hello. I come from a school that has become my home over the past 15 years. My home is a place where I feel free to run in the meadow, express myself indefinitely, walk to my dad across campus and ask for his lunch, sit under a tree and talk for hours and forget time exists. The definition of home to me is not a permanent address or the place you sleep, but the place you feel most comfortable. That is Oak Grove. I come from memories. My earliest memory here is from kindergarten, right over there. Every day, the whole class would run from the playground across the field to what we call the baby oak tree. We would run together, one big clump of kids, exhilarated and free. We would sit under the tree, reveling in our independence. Today, as a high school senior, I still walk past that baby oak tree every single day. Sometimes I get there right when the new generation of 5-year-olds is running towards it. I hear them laughing and screaming like my friends and I once did. I come from relationships. Growing up in a class of 10 with a teacher that you call by their first name allows you to have a special connection. My 5th grade self was feeling confused about growing up. I voiced my concerns with my teacher, Deborah Calzini, and talked for hours about what it meant to become a woman. This connection helped me keep my sense of childlike innocence in the world. Home is where my family is. I come from inquiry. I am familiar with questions in every sense of the word. I grew up in an environment that encouraged me not to find an answer. And you can imagine that was hard to grasp. It felt like nothing could be answered by yes or no. By 6th grade, we were asking how we got here, and then, how can we live with fear? Since then, I've harbored this Krishnamurti way of asking questions instead of looking for an answer. Home is a place I can question myself and the world. I come from silence. When I was young, silence was uncomfortable. I never let myself feel the sensation of being present with no filter. To be honest, it terrified me. I did not want to lose the control that I had over my body or mind. I was the one kid that giggled during what I thought was deafening silence because of my nervousness. Backpacking in 9th grade was the first time silence didn't feel artificial. When I went on a walk by the river, the nature surrounded me curated an environment where silence felt expected, as if noise didn't belong. I felt content silently reflecting on the present without the distractions of the world. Home is a place where I'm encouraged to be silent. I come from the people around me. Mom, Dad, you are the reason I got to come to this amazing school. Aiden, you keep me weird. May, you keep me fed and happy. And Cassius, you keep me exploring. Oak Grove has given me the chance to experience the feeling of belonging, and I am ever so grateful. Teachers, you have given me the curiosity for life. My class, you are my family. Next year, I will be attending UC Berkeley in San Francisco. It will be a big change from Oak Grove because Oak Grove has 42 students. Berkeley, in comparison, has 42,000. 1,000 times larger. I have no doubt that the person I have become will succeed given this challenge. I come from my home, memories, relationships, silence, inquiry, and all of you people. I'm a lizard for life, and I am proud to say that I come from Oak Grove. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Sydney Robertson, and thank you. Have had the amazing privilege and honor to be the senior advisor this year. I want to thank the seniors for their poignant, eloquent, and heartfelt words this morning, and for giving us all one more moment of connection with them, with one another. Thank you. And now, the moment we've really been waiting for, time to confer their diplomas upon them. You want me to take care of it? Oh. The first diploma is to Zijian Zhao, who, as we know, is in China, and we'll be mailing that to him. So congratulations, Eric. Clark Murdoch Del Signore. Isis Sapphire Sky DeVries. Gwen Cynthia Del Signore. Good catch. You got it.
Thank you.
There.
Thank you.
Don Ian Rishi Asiole de Moraes Gianetti. You did a great job. Congratulations. Julianne Faith Davida Thompson. Josie Mae Elizabeth Mitchell. Congratulations. Yes. Nayeli Torrado Vega. Anna H. Richardson. Hannah Jean Schindel.
Thank you, guys.
You got it. So, please join me in congratulating Oak Grove School's class of 2021.